Well, it's time to talk about 2025 and see what we can look forward to in 2026. From my standpoint, 2025 definitely felt slower, and from a number standpoint, single-family homes, we were down about 10%. So we'll go more in depth in that later. But long story short, we did still see about 4.5% appreciation, and the average sale price creeped over 300,000. So touch all that more, but let's get started. So 2025 had some big changes for us. Jeff Foley retired in 2025. Ashley Johnson, who'd been with us for 5 years, moved back to Colorado in July. So kind of revamping the real estate team, we were able to look at our systems, our processes, and kind of reboot and prepare for 2026. With that being said, in August, we were able to hire Cashley Brown to the team. She's been a great asset. She's been learning the ins and outs of the real estate world, working on her license. And by the time this video goes out, she should be very close to being licensed, or she will be in January. So we're happy to have her on the team and get another full-time realtor out there helping you guys out with your transactions. Despite all these challenges in 2025, we're still fortunate to finish one of our best years ever. On top of that, from a sales standpoint, on top of that was probably one of the most fulfilling years that we've had in real estate. We were able to handle a lot of very challenging situations. A lot of times people aren't moving because they wanted to, they're moving because of death, divorce, job change. So there was a lot of emotion that went into these transactions from time to time, and I think that we did a great job, help lead with empathy, use our knowledge to help reduce the stress of the situation, and just put these buyers and sellers in the best situation they could be in, even if it was a bad situation, to help them eliminate the emotion and use our knowledge and expertise to guide them throughout the process. On top of that, a lot of stressful situations we were put in helping people, but definitely some of our highlights of 2025 were helping first-time home buyers buy a home. This year we had a 19-year-old youngest buyer that we've ever helped purchase his first home. That was an awesome experience. He was so excited to get into the home. We're still in contact today and he's loving it. Another thing was another first-time home buyer, 3 generations. He was the first one to ever actually be a homeowner. Everyone else had kind of rented in his family, and they were so excited to host the holidays in their new home. And it was just one of those deals that it was hard finding a house. It took us some time, but I think we truly put him in a great house for him and his family, and they've been able to host Thanksgiving, Christmas in that house, and it was one of the, definitely one of the highlights of our first year. With that being said, one of the things we're going to do this year is really lean into the whole first-time home buyer market. It's a place that we think that our knowledge and just our expertise can really help those people get into a house. It's not easy out there for them, so it's one of the things that we're going to do. So stay tuned for more of that coming up. That being said, let's get into the numbers on 2025. One thing that we look at all the time is I like to track single-family homes. There's the most homes that sell. Everything else kind of follows the single-family home market. So we just look at the single-family homes and help draw our conclusion from that's sold through the MLS. With that being said, in 2025, we had 552 single-family homes sell, which is 47 less, or about 10% less in 2024. 2023 and 2024 were very average, or very close to the same numbers, but they did have about 5% appreciation each year. From 2024 to 2025, we saw 4.5% appreciation. So the last 3 years have been very consistent on the appreciation level, pushing our average home sale over that $300,000 mark now, which is kind of crazy. As far as the hot price range in 2025, that's anything under $300,000. Seems like every time we're in our weekly meetings at Signal, stuff like that, it's like, hey, I have a first-time home buyer looking around $250,000. South Minot seems to be very hot, but pretty much anywhere under that $300,000, if it's a nice house, marketed right, turnkey, not a lot of repairs, it's going to sell very fast. I mean, that is the ideal house in Minot right now. Looking ahead to 2026, I think it's going to be another year that's going to fall, right between that 23, 25. I think we'll be right around 600 home sales again. I see rates, they started in 2025 in the 7s. They ended right in the low 6s, high 5s. I think that we'll see that start to go down. It's going to be in the 5.5 to 6 range is think where I'll be kind of average out in 2026. I don't see any huge flex in that, but I do think that we will see rates slowly slow down. I think appreciation is going to slow down a little bit too. I think it's going to be around that 3% range looking at 2026. But with that being said, if construction prices are still really, really high, that new construction, so people are really leaning into existing home sales, keeping that appreciation heading in the right direction. I don't see any indications at this point that we would see any depreciation in our housing market in 2026. Let's jump into talk about the commercial market in Minot. Let's start with land sales. Kind of consistent over the last few years. We get a few land sales every year. I don't know if it's the right analogy to use, but I tell sellers it's kind of like Russian roulette. You just need to have your land out there. You need, when people are searching for it, they need to be able to find it. It could sit on the market for 2 to 3 years, and then all of a sudden the right company, the right person comes along and they buy it. I mean, it doesn't seem like they negotiate a whole lot on price. If it's in the ballpark and it's what they want, they'll definitely jump on it, but you don't know if that time is going to be next month or in 2 years from now. It just kind of has to be right place, right time. And I think the biggest thing is make sure you're in the ballpark for price, and make sure that it can be found on the internet when people are searching. Let's talk about the multifamily investor market. So there's definitely a lot of people looking to buy in Minot right now. People that own aren't willing to sell at the cap rate that it's at right now. There's a lot of optimism that apartments are filling up, rents are going up. I think the values are also going to follow, so that's why a lot of people are holding on. If you were looking to sell your property, you're in average condition, I think at a 7% cap rate right now, it would sell. I mean, the numbers really don't make sense at that, but with all the optimism, people looking forward to what they're seeing in Minot, I think that that's where something could sell. And we're talking about buildings bigger than fourplexes. That's we've seen fourplexes sell. That's kind of more in the single family market, owner occupied stuff. So we're talking about the bigger investment properties, 7.5% cap. If you want to sell, give us a call. We can definitely get your place sold. But most people are thinking that they're gonna wait out the interest rate game, wait out the cap rate game, and then these things should be worth a lot more than they are in 2 to 3 years. I think in the commercial world, my biggest surprise this year was just kind of seeing the storage condo market. A lot of people talk about we need more storage condos, luxury storage, 30 by 60, stuff like that. And I think we do, but we're kind of seeing that stuff slow down, and more of the rental market. We were getting about 12 bucks a square foot out of it, $1,800 a month for a 30 by 60. And it seems like that's really softened down to maybe that $1,400-$1,500 range. I think that is kind of trickling down from all the warehouse stuff is softening. I just think that's a small blip on the radar. I think as economy gets better, I mean, the economy's pretty good. As things get better, I think that's going to shake out in 2026, and we're going to see those rents go back up. But that was the most surprising thing, that we just did not see a lot of storage units, storage condos, those bigger things up for rent in the last few years. And this year there seemed to be a lot more for rent, a lot more sitting out there, and a lot more price reductions to get those filled. So that's something to keep an eye on, is the bigger storage units, storage condos, stuff like that in 2026. It's kind of a really general overview of the real estate market. Looking forward to 2026 as far as the economy and stuff in Minot. A couple things to keep an eye on is the Exceptional Healthcare Clinic across the road from Baker Hughes. They've broken ground. That project is moving forward. That's a $25 million project, I believe. So you're driving up there, keep an eye on that. It's going to be very interesting and fun to keep an eye on. Another thing a lot of people don't know about, 40-acre development on the east side of Stonebridge, or 40-acre parcel of land on the east side of Stonebridge, closed right at the end of the year. So there's probably someone out there with some development plans and stuff for that. So let's keep an eye on what happens on the east side of Stonebridge and what happens over there. As far as a lot of chatter about the anhydrous plant 4 miles west of Berthold going in. That's going to be a big shot out to Berthold. Some of that stuff will trickle into Minot too if that happens. So we can keep an eye on that anhydrous plant. And then the last but not least, North American Steel. Minot Daily News wrote an article, I think it was in October, about that. It's like a 700-acre plus pig steel plant, bring about 600 jobs to Minot or the surrounding area if that comes into the thing. So they're really looking, I think it's like North American Steel or something like that, really looking hard at Minot's industrial park. Hopefully we can get something like that coming into the city. Great jobs, great things, so a lot of growth. So those are 4 things to keep an eye on in 2026 for the city of Minot. So 2025 may have felt like a slower year, but a lot of things going on. Always important to stay on top of it. If you have any questions about your real estate needs, what's happening in the community, whatever we can do to help out. We get people calling all the time, asking questions, bouncing ideas off us. We love to give our 2 cents and be an asset to you and your properties. So don't hesitate to reach out. Hope everyone had a great year. 2026 is going to be great. Let's stay connected.